is it a sextuplet? I'm not sure how you describe it, because you know you can go up to a single, a duo, a trio, a quad, a quint, and then what comes after that? Like, is it a sextuplet? Hi friends, ERIKATESLA here. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for deciding to click on this video, and if you're returning, it is so good to have you back. Today I'm going to be chatting with you guys about the Danessa Myricks Volume 6 Freedom Palette. This is Lightwork 6, and I got this palette pretty much the day of or day after release. So I've had this for several weeks now. I've had a chance to play with it, do several looks. I will show you a few of those looks using this palette, and I will have some swatches for you. And the video I wanted to do, I didn't have time to post sooner, but I think it's kind of timely because the Sephora sale is going on right now. And if I had to recommend anything for the sale, it probably would be this palette. I don't think I'm going to be doing a dedicated Sephora sale video. I'm pretty sure you guys have plenty of those flooding your feed, and there's just so many great products to choose from. So I am going to sit this season's Sephora sale video out. However, I do want to talk about at least one product that you should consider picking up if you do shop the sale, and that is the Danessa Myricks Beauty Lightwork Volume 6 palette. It is still available, I think, on Sephora and on Danessa's website. I'm not sure what kind of promotions or sales that she'll be having during Black Friday, but sometimes if you're lucky and patient, you will find that some of these products are not only still available, but they are offered at a bit of a discount as well. So this is definitely a palette that I would recommend picking up on sale. But as you can see, this palette is so cool, guys. What I really like about it is that it does have a very innovative design. You can pop out each of these sections, these 6-pan sections, and then you can stack them. And I think that that is such a cool idea because you could stack them like this. So there are the 18 shades compacted, and then you can take out the little plate that is embedded in the lid of the palette and just go like this and take it with you. And I do have the leather pouch that this goes in as well, so this is super travel friendly. And I haven't peeled the plastic off yet, but you do have a mirror here as well. And so you have like a really cool, innovative design in this palette. The other thing that I like about it is that these individual shades come out as well. So if you wanted to mix the color stories up, you can pop these shades out and do different combinations with them. I think that this product, it just was so exciting to so many people because of the interesting packaging. It's functional, and it looks really cool, and it's very chic and very sophisticated looking. And just like that, while I've been talking to you guys, I've been able to put the palette, like reassemble it back together. So you can have it laid out, or if you're a traveling MUA doing some cool editorial stuff, you can travel with it really easily, or you can leave it as is in the palette. So with that being said, I'm going to throw up some swatches for you guys of the shades in the palette, and then I will come back and I will talk through each of the looks that I did using the palette and using each of the 6 pans in said palette. So we have the brand new Danessa Myricks Beauty Lightwork 6 Freedom palette, and I wanted to show you this perspective of the palette so we could explore it together and just take a look at how interesting the design for the packaging is. So first off, you can take off this plate here, and if you turn it around, you have a little handheld mirror on the back. I'm not going to peel this off yet because I don't want to blind you guys, but this is really, really neat. So I'm going to take this and put this over to the side, and we're going to get into the next layer of the palette. And guys, this is fresh. I just got this, so we're taking off the protective packaging here so that we can reveal the inside of this palette. And this is gorgeous. We have 18 shades here, And we have these little notches on the side so that you can pop these palettes out. We have these little color stories, these mini color stories within the larger color story, and you can pop these out. And we have seen Danessa demoing this on her page, but what's really cool about this palette is that you can stack these palettes, and then this plate goes on top to cover it. Okay, and this is really cool because then if you want to travel with your palette and not risk the magnet sliding around, which I think they won't do, this seems pretty sturdy, there's this beautiful pouch that you can carry it. I think this is some kind of imitation leather. I don't think it's real leather, but it opens up like one of those old school glasses case. Do you guys remember these from back in the day? I feel like my grandmother had something like this for her reading glasses. And then you can just slide that in there, and this closes up. This magnet is actually really sturdy, and I think that this is genius. I think this is the innovation that a lot of people have been looking for. So this is really exciting from a packaging perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out because now I want to get into the swatches of the different shades in the Lightwork Volume 6. So I'm going to close this up. Like, this is pretty neat because this is also magnetic, so you can carry this however you please. And then here we have the information on the back of the major, we have the information on the back of the bigger palette here. So I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to put that plate back in, the bigger palette. We're going to take a look at each of these 3 color stories, and I love how just from the first look you can see that you have 3 distinct color stories, but color stories that can clearly work together. So here are the first 6 shades from Lightwork 6. And I have my mirror here, friends, so that you can see the shifts a little bit better. Let me know if that's helpful or not, but I think it does show how these shades shift and gives us a different perspective on how the shadows can look from different angles. I think these are really, really stunning. I'm going to bring in my mirror again to see if we can take a look at these shifts. I think the shade Release for sure has some really interesting shifts to it. So in the pan it looks straight up white, so that's this top shade here. It looks straight up white. From the perspective of where I'm sitting, it looks kind of like a sheer periwinkle shade, and then in the mirror you can see like there's a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple. Just a really interesting shade. All of these shades are really, really gorgeous. That is the last group of shades. So you can see head on the first 4 shades, they look, especially the first, third, and fourth shades, you can see a shift. I would say the third and fourth shades down, like they're looking kind of similar in the mirror in terms of their shift, but there's definitely a difference. Like this shade here, let me see, the shade Joy, and compared to Rejoice, like when I look at them head on, like there's definitely a difference in tone. This looks a little bit lighter. This is like a little bit more rich. Really pretty nonetheless. So the first look that I did with the palette, or the first, is it a sextuplet? I'm not sure how you describe it, because you know you can go up to a single, a duo, a trio, a quad, a quint, and then what comes after that? Like, is it a sextuplet? Is it a sextet? Like, I don't know. I've never heard anybody specifically say the word for that other than 6 pan. So I guess the first 6 pan grouping that we'll talk about is this like earthy tone set of shades that are really pretty. I really like these shades because they do, for me, evoke like a sense of fall. You have these multi-chrome and duochrome shades, and then you have this shade here that's called Unapologetic. I'm pretty sure, I'm looking at the box, and as you can see, like this is the one shade in this little 6 pan that doesn't have a duochrome finish to it. It's like a satin kind of cream, and it's nice because you have one shade in the palette that is, I guess you could say, somewhat neutral. It's like this kind of reddish brown shade, and this is a really nice shade for laying down like your base and things like that. And I do want to mention that with some of these looks, I did pull in the Groundwork palette as well, but this is the first set of shades that I used to create the first look. And then I pulled out, guys, this second set of shades. So you have these cool tones here and these jewel tones and these like toppers. I mean, these are just really, really stunning, guys. Like, they're just really, really pretty. I have to say, this one shade, and I'm actually going to try and look and refer to the name, the shade Empowered, here in the corner, it's kind of this like cream. Oh, it's really soft. It's very creamy. And this layered is just so pretty on top of so many things. Like, this shade, it just adds this added element of interest to your eye look. And this is just, it was such a pretty six pan to work with. And I really, really like the shades in here. And then we have this shade Fluid. Is it Fluid or Euphoria? I think this is Euphoria. Like, look at that. That is such a cool color. I know I already did the swatches, but it's so hard when you're looking at these shades to not dig in again. But they're such gorgeous shades. You have so many options with these palettes, and so hopefully as you're seeing the looks beside me, it's giving you a little bit of inspiration for how you can use these palettes. And then we finally have the pinky six pan, the pinky purpley six pan. So this is the look that I have on now, and I pulled in Groundwork for this palette. With the Groundwork palette, I did lay down this deep purple shade, and you know, hopefully I have these in the right order. I think this is the shade Serenity, and again, it's that kind of silky. This one feels kind of putty-ish, but it's that base layer shade. So each of the six pans has one shade that does not have a duochrome to it, but it's more of a solid color that you can use to lay down as a base for your other shades if you want to. And these layer really, really beautifully. They give you a lot of dimension, and I really had a lot of fun creating this particular look, and I think it came out really, really beautifully. This is a really, really, like, probably my favorite of the three six pans, just because I'm such a big fan of like pinky purpley shades. But I really do like them all, and I'm looking forward to creating more looks with all of the shades combined and mixing and matching them. So with that being said, those were the looks, and we're gonna get into a couple of just comparisons, just side-by-side comparisons, so you can see how some of the previous Lightworks look with the current Freedom palette. I'm going to show you guys comparisons of the previous Lightwork palettes to the Freedom palette, and we're going to go with the most recent to the oldest in that release or that line of Danessa's products. So I'm going to start with the Lightwork palette volume 5. This is the I Am palette, and this palette is absolutely stunning. I really love the split pans in here. I think it just gives the palette a lot of visual interest. So as you can see, here is the Freedom palette, and here's I Am. And I will say, in terms of formulations, the shades in here have more similarities than differences. Like, everything in here, there's actually a couple of shades that aren't duochrome. So we have a couple of shades that are Enough and Unbreakable, and these feel like more traditional creamy shadows. They obviously have like a satin finish to them. They're not multi-chrome or duochrome, but as I mentioned, these are really good shades that you could use as base shades for this palette. Obviously, if you are not doing like a full-on colorful look, you might want to pull in like a neutral palette. This came out before Groundwork, which now that Groundwork is out, this is definitely a beautiful palette to use on top of the shades in Groundwork if you want to do like a neutral base and a pop of color shimmery eye look. But these shades are absolutely stunning, and it was an improvement format and formula wise from the next palette that I'm going to show you, which is volume 4. And I think of this palette as Danessa's Creative Risk, because we have these 4 shades in the middle here, and I'm just going to show you Freedom next to it. You can see these two. Hold on. Okay, so here's 4 and here's 6. 4 had this very interesting format as well that we saw return in 5. However, these shades in the middle, we have 2 water activated liners and 2 chrome flakes, and there were a lot of opinions and thoughts on these formulas being included in the palette. I will say these are shades that I don't really use or reach for as much, just because they are a bit challenging. I like them, I like the effect, but the shade Paradise and Heaven, if you have textured lids, the flakes flake up. They do actually flake up. They don't lay down. So if you're looking for like a smooth look, you won't get that with this. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't used the water activated liners outside of swatching them. Like, it's just not something that I've incorporated into my looks. And I stopped buying water activated liners because it just really wasn't a style that I incorporate into my makeup looks, and it has nothing to do with water activated liners. Like, I just tend to go for actual traditional shadows, or the traditional multi-chromes, if you will, and it's just like when I'm doing my makeup looks, sometimes depending on the time that I have, I'm not looking to like add extra steps to the process. So this did end up being a piece that I collected, and I still really love it. And the duochromes that are in here are absolutely incredible and stunning. Like, this shade Trance is so cool. Like, it looks blue, but when I'm looking at it off of the camera, like, you see this like purple shift. So I don't know if I can like show you guys on camera, but this shade has such a cool shift to it. But anyway, all of them do. I mean, it's Danessa's formulas that are just like really, really beautiful. But I love this palette. And again, this is like in a very traditional format. And then we're going to take it back to 3, which her 1 and 2 Lightwork palettes were highlighter palettes. I do have those somewhere, but those were face palettes. The 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been eyeshadow palettes. So when she came out with Lightwork 3, this is called the Experience palette, and I think honestly this would have been great if she had taken the Transcendence palette and then just like really took out those middle shades and then just did a new iteration of this palette. I think it would have been much more functional, and I think that she could have probably brought the price point a little bit down, because I think the more recent iterations of the Lightwork palette, they're in the 120, 128 range. This was closer to 85, and it's not cheap, but I think it's more attainable for people, especially if you know like you have 8 shades that you'll actually be able to use easily and pick up. But again, that's the practical side of me speaking, not the artist side, because I can appreciate with Danessa's artistry that she really wants to push the boundaries and do innovative things. So, you know, and at the end of the day, we're making the choice or not to purchase her palettes. I wore this a couple of years ago to a friend's baby shower, and I really love the look that I came up with. It went with the dress that I had on. We have the shade Gaia. I could have a whole swatch party just on this palette alone. I wish she would bring it back. I hope one day she does what Pat does, which is bring back her vault, like open up her vault, and if she has any extra of this. And I know sometimes it's hard because with some of these shades and colors, you know, it just really depends on the availability of pigments at any given time. So a dream of mine would be to see some of these make a comeback, because I know some of these palettes went so fast that people wanted them and they didn't get a chance to pick them up. So it was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to really consider, you know, is this something that you would use in your collection or not? So the next time one comes out, you can really decide, like, do I really need to have this in my collection? So as you can see, I do really love having these palettes in my collection. I love the looks that you can create with these. It's a really fun brand, fun shades, fun formulas, fun finishes. Danessa herself, I have never met her personally, but I could see the joy that comes out of her brands and what she creates, and it's really fun to have a piece of that. And I think she does a really good job of incorporating that energy into what she puts out into the market. And it's nice to have something that, in this case, the latest case, I think is not only really creative, but this, I would say, is probably one of the more wearable ones. You have this one shade here. I'm telling you, you could just, this alone on the eye, on top of any shade, this shade is like really, really good. It's really, really pretty. So that being said, we've talked about swatches, some looks, some comparisons. I would love to know what you guys think about this one. Is this one that you will pick up sale while it's still available, or are you going to skip it, or what are your thoughts on this one? I would love to know, like, have you used this one? Like, what are some ideas that you have on this palette? Because I have been having so much fun creating looks with this, and I am looking forward to doing a little bit more with it, because so right now, see, I can't help it. See, I'm like the worst reviewer, because I'm sitting here and I'm supposed to be very efficient in talking to you guys about the shades and everything, and I can't stop touching all the colors. I can't stop touching all of them. They're just so pretty. They're so fun. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with this one, and just, yeah. Definitely glad that I picked this one up. Is this on your wish list? I would like to know what you think about it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to get on here and film, because it's been a little bit. We've been really busy doing family stuff, and you know, there's been some travel, there's been school, sports, all of that fun stuff happening. So it feels really good to just turn the camera on and like practice talking to you guys, or talk to you guys and catch up with you guys and see how you're doing. And yeah, I have some other fun makeup stuff that I will be filming pretty soon for you guys. So I'll have some more videos coming soon. But I just want to say to everyone that has supported my channel, you're amazing, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you take out of your day to watch my videos. I appreciate you taking time to just click that like button. And those of you who feel compelled to leave me comments, it really, really is appreciated. I read all of the comments that you guys leave me, and I think I'm doing a fairly good job of responding to everyone when I can, and hopefully so that you know that I appreciate you and your time. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoy content like this. Make sure to say hi in the comments. I love hearing from you. And please consider subscribing to my channel so that you and I can hang out and talk about makeup and just, you know, have a really chill time together. I would love that. So hit that notification bell so you know when I have a new upload. And until next time, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.